Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, ES for the most part consolidated within Friday's range, and at this point heading into the open, the short-term bias is really more neutral because the market can resolve in either direction outside of this balance. We're still going to give buyers the edge as long as ES can hold above 85 to 87.50, because that would mean that the balance that was established on Friday is still intact, and Friday was a bullish day. So as long as we're holding above 85 to 87.50, that balance remains intact and there's still potential for buyers to jump in and continue the move from Friday. On the upside, we have resistance at 1975 to 0275 and 05 half to 07 half. Now, the 05 half to 07 half zone is right above the overnight high, which means it's right above the balance from the overnight session as well as Friday's session. So if we are breaking out on high momentum and broad market strength, then we may not get much of a reaction at the 05 half to 07 half zone, and the market can quite easily head higher and tag the 1912 to 1915 area, which would be a pretty decent upside objective and target. Now, beyond 12 to 15, it's really going to depend on the level of strength and momentum we're seeing in real time. The range certainly supports a move up to 19 to 21, and that's an area where we can get a better sell response first time up as long as the market hasn't consolidated for a bit ahead of it. And above there, we have resistance at 26 to 27.50, 31 half to 33 half, and both of those zones are decent areas for responsive sellers to be active first time up. We're also seeing a bit of a slowdown in the volatility and the volume in the market. So we're not getting the same level of wide ranges that we were getting in the early part of last week. So we are seeing a little bit of a slowdown in volatility, and it's just something to take in mind when you are setting your targets, because the character of price action is changing a bit. And if we continue to head higher, we may continue to see some decreased volatility and less of a range potential to the upside. Whereas if you break down below pre-market support, below Friday's low, that can result in short-term liquidation, and that can bring the 71.75 to 73.75 initial support into play quite easily. There are minor levels of support ahead of that, 77 quarter and 75. But if the market is in liquidation mode, so if we're breaking down on broad market weakness and on strong downside momentum, then it's going to be best to wait until 71.75 to 73.75 before attempting any long side trade. And at the same time, we can use it as a short opportunity into the 71.75 to 73.75. Now on the downside, those areas are valid support until broken, and first time down responsive buyers can be active at initial support at 69 quarter to 69.75, as well as the support levels below. So even the naked V pocket 65, the open gap 1861 with support right underneath at 59 and 55 half, 57 half. Those are still high probability areas for responsive buyers to be active, especially the 55 half to 57 half and the 59 level. So right now, heading into the open, our bias really is much more neutral because it has been a very balanced market over Friday and in the overnight session. So we have to be open to trades in both directions. Still giving the benefit of the doubt to buyers, but they are going to have to continue to show up, and we are going to have to continue to see at least a lack of weakness off the open if we are to go higher. So with the previous close at 99 quarter, the AD line can be negative off the open, and that would be quite normal. But as long as it's not extremely negative and trending lower, and as long as we're not seeing sustained downside momentum, there's still potential for responsive buyers to jump in the market. And as long as that pre-market support is intact, there's still a chance for buyers to step in, and it'll be risky to initiate a short right near pre-market support unless we're seeing excessive weakness and sustained downside momentum. So those were the main ideas heading into the open. Again, we're just going to be very neutral with our bias, open to both sides. Pre-market support can help establish that bias and set the tone for the day. So let's see if the buy side can hold it above pre-market support, and we'll take it from there.